everything's okay right now at this point in time. But if there's something major, I will literally, my tech and myself will go out to the van and make those phone calls to that property manager or to the office immediately, pretty quick. Therefore, you guys don't get blindsided by it. We're very calm with them. We just talk to them as a normal person, literally face to face, and just tell them everything's okay, at that point in time,
Yep,
and they'll move forward at that. We don't like to put them tenants into worry wart, as we call it. We don't want them to stress out or freak out or call you or call us, let it be, so we're pretty adamant on making sure that communication is very proper with them.
Yeah, and I think another example that comes to mind is for you HVAC guys, I think we had a vendor a couple of years back where there was a gas leak, but it wasn't a CO leak. And it was so small that it really wasn't ultimately a concern. We want to fix it, but it's not like they have to get out of the house today or they're in trouble kind of situation. And, any tenant who hears gas leak is going to freak out. I don't care, especially if you have kids.
yeah.
So again, just kind of being able to position those things better is important for us. And I guess that kind of beyond that, especially when you are following up behind another vendor, just try to remember that the other vendor might have been someone that Dorman or the homeowner had sent out. And it's very easy to get it caught in that trap of kind of looking like the hero who's sort of better than the last guy. And I don't,
you don't want to ever talk bad about your other vendors.
It wasn't done properly. Those kinds of statements can really get us in trouble as well, because you have no idea if Dorman was the one that sent out that other vendor. Yeah. And now they're like, what the hell, Dorman? Why did you send out that horrible vendor before? So just kind of, I guess, try to catch yourself if you're in a situation like that, to kind of just bite your tongue. I know it can be hard, when they're staring at you waiting for answers, but yeah. Lee, did you have anything more to add to that?
I tell the vendors, hey, when you go out, if the tenant's breathing down your back, first of all, you could say 6 feet, please. But I just tell them, hey, I report to Dorman, and once I report to Dorman, they will be in touch. And if they further, I know it's probably difficult sometimes, because I guarantee you at least 75% of those tenants call me right after you leave, or email me or text me. The tech was just here and he said this, this, and this. And what they don't understand is I am not going to go by what the tenant told me. You know what I mean? That of what they were told. I have to get the written report before I can do anything. And so it's mind-boggling on my end too, because then I have to reply to them. I need the written report from the vendor. So they're so anxious to get something done, you know what I mean, and jump on it. So I feel for you when you're out there, but the worst thing we need is for you to tell them anything.
Yeah, and sometimes they are actively building a case against us.
Yeah.
Right. They're, especially in mold situations like the one that we had happen in the beginning of December. We actually ended up terminating that property because the homeowner was not willing to resolve the issue like we thought they should.
Well, and maybe what might help too is just explain, I report to Dorman, they will get my report. Let them understand the timing in all of this too. You don't just automatically call us and say, hey, and okay, we'll be right on that. You know what I mean? They don't understand timing, because a lot of times if we're over that maintenance limit, we've got to get owner approval. Right. It's going to take a day or so. So again, they don't understand the process and the timing and everything. So I think basically it's just best to say my report to Dorman will be, they'll receive it tomorrow, and if you have any questions, you can call Dorman. That's what I tell all the vendors. Call Dorman. Not that I want those calls, but yes, I'd rather it be taken off of you guys and let me deal with their inquisitive minds.
If I'm calling you, I want you to pick up the phone because I'm at one of your properties with an emergency.
And that's
if I'm
what I,
not calling you, any other form of communication I need with you is going to be either email or text message because I know how you guys roll. And
okay. And I was going to bring
so-
that up next. Because you're calling me, but I am one maintenance coordinator for our portfolio, which is quite large right now. I am 95% of the day on the phone with one thing or another.
I understand.
As you all probably know, it's hard to get a hold of me. So if you're out or you have a tech out at a property and you can make that repair, but you need approval for the price.
Yep.
I am suggesting that you call the property manager directly.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if you can't get a hold of one of the property managers, you can call Betsy or myself.
And you all
Okay.
know how to determine who the property manager is. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the work order. And if you need their
We
phone
had
number,
one no, Lee.
Huh?
We had a no.
okay, on the work order that you all receive, let me just push this over here for a minute, where the property code is. Because I don't know how you all work your system. Do you print out the work orders and take them with you, or do you have a different system that you go by?
On larger jobs we have a system called House Call Pro, and it just manages everything. That's where we can stuff our photos for you guys, our befores and afters. It's where our
Okay.
technicians put our soap notes and stuff. So
Okay, because within the property code, as you know, we have a property code, right?
yes.
Before that property code are two initials. So you're going to see for like Reagan, RL,
Okay.
and then the property code. DB,
for
Drew Bartlett.
Betsy,
Yeah.
it's three initials.
Okay.
And I would say, worst case scenario, if you call to the office at the front desk,
Okay.
you could ask them for the property manager, who's the property manager, if you don't know, and get their cell number.
Okay.
If
And
there-
that's-
if there's an emergency, and oftentimes I'm in the office, so if there's an emergency and they've tried to forward through to the PM, and the PM's not answering, they can just come talk to me too, and I can, if it's really emergency, then I can just approve things if I need to.
Okay. Yeah, and the emergency call is rare for us, but it happens and it will happen. But like
You've
I have a
called,
couple PMs.
I know,
Yeah.
you've called where you're like, hey, I can fix this right now,
Yep.
but
Yep.
it's gonna be over 250. Do I have approval?
Right. You know, I want to pay attention. I want to follow your rules and the standards, and you know, I want to exceed those for you guys. So as long as I
mean-
know what's going on and how you want me to do it, that's
I mean,
got
I'm
you.
almost tempted. I was gonna say, I'm almost tempted to give you all my personal cell, but a lot of times I'm double dipping it. I'm using the work phone and I'm on my personal cell at the same time. So,
I
We
was
need to
like that for the
maintain your
last.
sanity.
so I don't think
Yes, we
that's,
do.
I don't
No,
think
that's
that,
not a good idea. Don't give us your cells, please. Don't.
I know.
We appreciate you, but we got this. We just
But,
this
but to me,
communication is good.
but to me, I can understand you're out there. Hey man, I can fix this right now. All I need is a yes. And it's frustrating that you can't get the yes. And
It's
then
not
you have to-
frustrating. It's just it's part of the business, and it's just something that we're all looking to solve.
I
and
know, but
so
I'm
thank
trying-
you. We appreciate you.
I'm trying to, hey, time is money. And if you have to come back, you
Yep.
know, when you couldn't get an answer, I totally understand that. Okay. Because I'm trying to get it so that we're a little more efficient on both sides. You know what I mean?
Okay, so with that being said and brought up, how about what if I'm looking for permission? It sounds like Alex has a really good system that we can move towards. But say if we don't get permission in, 15, 30 minutes, what are you looking at for me to wait at the property for you for a return answer? Because I know sometimes you have to go all the way up to the homeowner and it's like, Nick, just reschedule it. No big deal. We'll go back out. But sometimes you want me to fix it while I'm there, but the communication from whoever it needs to be isn't there for, I've had a couple hours sometimes,
Well, so I'll touch on that. So the
Cool.
contract that we have with the property owner allows us to approve emergency repairs.
Okay.
If it's important and nice to do while we're there, but over $300, we can't do it without their okay.
Of course.
If it's an actual emergency, flood, fire, the
That's
things
a
that
little
have to be done, even
Okay.
refrigerators are very important to us. We'll deem those emergencies usually.
Okay.
Furnace repairs, that kind of thing. We can approve those without even talking to the homeowner. So
Because
again,
those
it's
are the laws of habitability. Excuse me, the habitat laws.
Habitability.
I need another coffee.
Now,
Yeah, so basically if it falls either under the law of habitability or our own internal, this is what we
Yes.
deem to be an emergency,
Okay.
then we can pull
Cool.
those triggers. But otherwise, we have to wait for their approval if it's over $300.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. In terms of waiting, man, I would hate to have you guys waiting for more than half an hour at a property.
Okay. I'll call it 30 minutes because yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like Leah, she's on the phone all day like me. We've implemented a new system. Before any of our guys can leave your jobs or anybody else's jobs, they have to call a supervisor and they have to go through each list item with me. And you know what, you guys, I should have been doing this since day one. It has solved a lot of problems, and I can call the PM right away or send a text or an email and say, hey, this is out of our scope of work. You need to get somebody else. We just can't do this job or whatever, and it's been working a lot better. So
Cool.
just wanted to give you guys that little bit of
Well, and
gold.
and also, mind you, I'm just kind of like, if you call me and get a hold of me, I'm the middle person. I still have
Yeah.
to go to the PM to get
Right.
approval.
Okay,
So-
that makes sense, Lee.
Yeah. So
Thank you for
that's
being clear with that.
Yeah, so that's why if you can get straight to the PM,
Yep.
that's great. If you can't get to the PM, yes, try me again. Or
Okay.
tell the front desk, it's vital you get a hold of me. Because eventually, even if somebody sends me an email, I mean, I do watch when they come in, try and watch to see what the subject is and if I need to address it right away.
And
Okay.
We'll be very likely getting Lee some help in the not too distant future too. So
Awesome.
there may be more than
That'd
one
be
person
fantastic.
involved. Yeah.
That's what I
In
think.
the not too soon future.
In the not too soon future.
And that she's never getting help.
Or
It was not
Lee.
intentional.
we all want to help Lee.
Okay, let's move on. Communication. Lee, do you want to touch on that, starting with confirmation
Yeah.
of work order receipt?
Yeah. So in order for me to keep total control, laugh, on what's going on and what work orders are out, where I'm at in a work order, communication is so vital to me. Okay. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but I've incorporated when I send over a work order, please confirm receipt of this work order. Okay, that is, so then I know, okay, good. It got confirmed. Pretty much they're accepting it. Awesome. I don't have to worry about a week later. Oh my God, that got lost in limbo because nobody replied and it wasn't addressed. Okay. Also, any communication, you know what I mean? And it goes both ways. I totally understand. But letting me know that you've received a work order. Also, when you have scheduled, it's that I love, because then when a tenant calls me up and says, blah, 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 I'm like, well, wait a minute. It says you were scheduled for this date. What happened? Did you not, were you a no-show for them? What happened? So the date of schedule is awesome. And if a tenant, if you're having a hard time getting a hold of a tenant, let me know. They always seem to respond to me. I don't know why, but they do. And I contact them through phone call, email, and text. They all seem to respond pretty well with text.
Can I
So
touch
if-
real quickly on the missed appointment thing?
Yeah.
We had a situation about 3 weeks ago with American Overhead Door, and the tenant was adamant that, American Overhead Door failed to show up to their appointment time and didn't do all these different things. Well, American Overhead Door not only documents every time they schedule an appointment with somebody, but they also record the phone call. So it was kind of magical because we sent this dude, here's a recorded phone call of you saying, okay, cool, that sounds great. And he didn't, he just looked like an idiot, which is fantastic. So I don't
I
expect
love
everyone to
how
have that
our
kind
phone
of a
calls are
sophisticated
recorded too,
system
man,
necessarily.
because we have that data.
But the more data you can keep to show that you have your ducks in a row really will help in those situations.
Yeah, because quite frankly, the tenant says one thing, I never received a voice message. And I'm like, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to derail you, Lee. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But sometimes I feel like it's me in the middle between the tenant and the vendor, and I'm more than not am believing you that you've tried to get a hold of them and they're not responding. But 9 times out of 10, they're always, I never got a phone call. I never got a message. And so if, I'm like, well, okay, can you call them now? And so I do seem to have to get in the middle of scheduling situations. I would rather not, because it is, you know what I mean?
I have a question. When we schedule the appointment, I always go through Appfolio and I note that in Appfolio. Do you want us to email you and do the Appfolio part? Or is that a little bit redundant? How do you feel?
You do it in Appfolio, so does it change the work order status to scheduled?
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay. I just didn't
That's
want you
fine.
to get multiple emails. Hey, I got the work order. Hey, I scheduled the work order. And then
I
Appfolio
appreciate
is scheduled. Okay.
Yes, for those of you that do work within Appfolio, yes, I do see you send invoices in
Okay.
through Appfolio too.
Yeah.
That's fine, because when I go to that work order, I will be able to say, oh, well, it says scheduled. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yes, that's perfectly
Okay.
fine.
Great.
Definitely. So, anybody else on communication? You guys I know that you all have a hard time getting a hold of me. And I'm sorry about that, but I try to get back to you when I can. But a lot of times I know it is too late when you're out on a property. So at least hopefully calling the PM will alleviate that a little bit to get a.
No, you made it very clear. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I was under the impression that I needed to be in contact with you directly. So, I'm not the one processing the work orders. We have 2 in our office that are doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure the girls know about the initials before the property
Okay.
code. And if they don't, this is a good way to bring it up where now we know how to get a hold of the proper person. So thank you very much.
Nick, I know that your girls will email us.
Yes.
Hey, my tech's out at the property. That's not necessarily the most effective, because
Okay.
again, I'm trying to
No
think.
worries. Tell me how you want it. That's how it'll
I'm
be.
trying to think what would be the best. If they're emailing saying, hey, my tech's out here and blah, 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 I would suggest they call the PM.
All PM.
Again,
Gotcha.
if you've got people out there and you need a question answered or you find something, try to get the PM first. And I'm sorry, PMs, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
no,
if
that's
if
Totally.
just screw it comes up on your call log, it's because we do need something more pertinent. Otherwise, would you like us to text message you something that might not be so, hey, I'm at the property. I've noticed that, these blinds are broken. Would you like me to take care of them while we're here? I've got the time.
I think if
That
you're
would be
able
a
to
text message.
text is a good way to go, because
Yeah.
we're sometimes in meetings or whatever, but we're.
But if I'm
Americans,
calling
we
you, it's
still
because,
carry our
hey, I've
phones
got
during those
water
meetings.
flowing, or I can't get the water shut off. Do you know what do I do? That
Yeah.
would be why I'm calling.
Because Betsy's awesome. She may be on the phone, but she sees you trying to call and she will message you, hey, I'm on the phone. I'll call you and I'll call you right.
Perfect.
Call you back.
Yeah, she's
So
great.
then she's acknowledged that she knows you're trying to get a hold of her.
Okay.
And I
Thank
love
you.
that. I love that about Betsy. And then I always reply K, so she remembers to call me back.
I do squirrel very often. I often get involved with something else.
Yeah. So
But also, as Alex said, if you can't get a hold of Drew or Reagan or John, Alex hates phone calls, so he will very often not pick up the phone. You are welcome to call me.
Thank you.
I'm a millennial,
Most of
Betsy.
Most of the time I'll make a decision and then say to Reagan, hey, just so you know, we're replacing the water heater at Main Street or whatever. So
By the way, this is what's happening.
right.
Thank you,
Really
Betsy.
quick,
I appreciate that.
Lee, we were going to touch on invoices. Something that I want to point out really quick is, and this just came up recently, if there is a recommendation, hey, I went out there to fix whatever, the faucet, and I noticed that this other thing is leaking. Please, for beloved, do not put that on the invoice. Please call us or email us separately, because there are times where we get that invoice and we just approve the invoice. Like we're doing like 200 invoices at once and we may not see your note about what had to be fixed.
Good to know.
If it had to be fixed, we're probably going to want to fix it. So just email us, email the PM is fine separately, or again, just give us a ring.
No, don't call. Don't call.
Okay.
Put it
just
in
email.
writing. Put it in writing in case, in case the PM has to get approval and has to send it, you know, the recommendation in written form to the owner. Put it in writing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Lee, do you want to touch on other invoice and estimate stuff?
And just to backtrack, if there is recommendations, estimates, those go to maintenance, my email, okay? So please don't send them to invoices. Only invoices go to invoices. And again, separate, don't put estimates on an invoice. Okay, because again, they get missed.
You can put
Yeah,
an estimate.
I love
you can
fine
put
tuning
an-
all this with you guys.
You can put an estimate on an invoice as long, I mean, that's fine with me, but it also has to be somewhere else. Like you can email it. I don't mind if because all of those invoices go to our homeowners. So the biggest issue is when a homeowner goes, hey, Curtis was out at the property and he thinks that the toilet should be replaced. So let's go ahead and replace that toilet. And then I'm like, oh,
What?
Curtis does think that needs to be replaced. Okay. Curtis is a horrible example because he calls immediately. So, but that's, if the owners know before we know, that's the issue. So.
Because estimates are, you know, we're waiting on estimates quite often so that we can pull the trigger. And if they're getting bogged down over in invoices, you know what I mean? And then maybe not seen right away, that we could lose a day or two. You know what I'm saying?
Typically, I'll make a note on the invoice. Note this is going to have an estimate attached as well. And I may attach it in 2 different places. When in doubt, I'll email it twice to both,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then
'cause-
make a note in that folio, hey, this is done, but still estimate number is outstanding.
Okay.
Interesting.
So we've worked through most of our agenda.
like
There's
this.
one thing that I'd like to point out as well that we talked about, I think, last time as well, is when everyone is at the properties, we are really, really counting on everyone to be our eyes and ears. You are our spies. Like
Yeah.
we've had vendors in the past say, I feel really uncomfortable because I feel like I'm tattling on them. We're like,
Please
What?
tattle on them.
we're
Yeah.
paying you to tattle on them. So if like, that is one of the best ways really to gain sort of our eternal business is if you're out there and you know, take a picture of something. Hey, they have 5 pit bulls. Like anything that's like, this is concerning, the house is trash, whatever. If you send us a picture or 2 and say, this is what I saw, that is magical for us. And it'll, I don't know, just really, quite frankly, make us like you even more. So please be doing that. Please be looking for those things. And I know how it goes. If you're there to do a specific job, you have blinders on, and I'm there to fix this one thing, and you're not really paying attention to the world around you other than that repair. So step back, put a different hat on, and just kind of be our eyes and ears. It's just extremely valuable for us. So.
Yeah, that we've been starting to do yearly and biannually inspections and reports. And I've tested it with the three of my PMs here in the northern area as well. And it's been going really good. So maybe we should talk about that at some point. But they've been collecting a lot of that kind of data from these reports. So
yeah, that's how you get a property management company to love you. If you make our job easier, we will continue to give you money.
hey,
So-
I want to make your job easy.
And then I think more importantly for them is invoicing. So if Sarah, would you just like to briefly go over when invoices are when the cutoffs are, so they understand if they miss a cutoff, when their next opportunity to get paid is, and deadline for the deadlines, and then also the 60 days, because we need their invoices to do SD Rex, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we want to have invoices due by the end of the month. Normally I pay by the 15th of the month. So if anything is submitted after that last day, it's going to be very tough. So normally I do a second run, which is also the last week of the month, but that's only half the invoices that we get. So if anything trickles in, it may get paid. It may have to wait till the next month, just depending on owner funds if we get it on time. Right now, we do want to make sure that invoices are submitted to us no later than that 60-day window after completion, or it will not be paid. So I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. That is in the vendor packet. So I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. All invoices, they do go to invoices@dormanrealestate.com. Sam usually gets with the PM, and then we'll be able to get those approved, and then we'll get them submitted so that we can pay you out. I do want to give you FYI, mailing is just going super slow right now, so just bear with us. I did hear that the USPS, they had to cut down on a lot of employees, so I just want to make sure that you guys are getting your payments. Just hang in there just a little bit longer.
How about, do you guys do any of that ACH payment? Would you like to set that up, or?
That is in the works, I
Okay.
think.
Save you
So
a lot
right
of
now-
postage and paper, and I think a lot of
Yeah,
money.
let us
in the
know
end.
when you guys set that up. We offer ACH as well.
Okay, yeah, we definitely are thinking about that. We just need to do a little bit more research, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to get that rolling.
Okay.
And you said, just to be clear here, if we don't have an invoice submitted within 60 days of the job being closed, Dorman will not pay the invoice, right?
Correct.
Well, let me talk about that for a minute. The reason that we have that in place is that if a property terminates, and it's happened so many times where the property terminates and then the vendor sends us an invoice 90 days later and we're like, well, we don't have any money, so here's the owner's contact number. So
collect it yourself.
So yeah, so that's kind of how we are operating because of that.
Makes sense. Thank you
problem.
for clarification. I usually have my invoice to you within that day or within a couple days if it's a bigger job, for us to get all of our ducks in a row for you guys, and then we send it over.
That, let me touch on that too. We had some complaints about, hey, we did a bunch of work at turnover for you, mainly for you handymen, and I guess some of the carpet cleaner folks. We did a bunch of work at turnover, and there was apparently no money on account, so that we had to wait for a new tenant to move in to have proceeds for my bill to be paid. We changed our process thanks to Betsy about 2 years ago, year and a half ago.
Thanks, Betsy.
Where we bump our reserve that we keep on account from $300 to $1,000 at every turnover. So we don't have to wait for money if it's under $1,000. If it's if you're doing turnover work that's over $1,000, unless the PM has asked the owner to send money, or we have another tenant lined up to move in, that's where you want to be. You want to know kind of what's going on. So
yes, and if that's the case, just talk to us, and then we'll figure out whatever we need to figure out with you guys. We prefer to have the materials paid for within 29 days of us purchasing it. Otherwise, it's not fair for us to hold that interest.
Yeah, and we agree with that. And I don't want you to be in those positions. It will happen from time to time, but that's not certainly what we want to accomplish.
No worries. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you very much.
So honestly, the biggest issue with waiting 60 days to turn in an invoice is if we don't manage the property anymore.
Right.
That's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
That and tenant chargebacks.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
It is for tenant chargebacks, but for the most part, when we do a security deposit reconciliation within 45 days of a tenant moving out. So, and I will go through all the work orders and I will see that I sent Just Screw It out there and I don't have their invoice yet. So I will call to get the invoice. But if I'm not thinking about it and the owner has terminated, I'm going to have to send you directly to the owner to get paid. Because we
I
don't
just
have,
don't understand why any vendor
you.
would want to
Wait 60 days.
hold their invoice for that
That's what
long.
I'm saying.
I'm
Yeah,
holding that
it's not
material.
horribly
I've already
common,
ran
but-
payroll for that hours worked for my employees. I'm paying the workers' comp. Like, yeah, there's
Yeah,
no reason
most
I'd
of the
want to sit
time
on
it's
that
most
invoice.
of the time it's with vendors that don't have, that are more kind of more mom and pop. It may be one, maybe two people. They're working out of a notepad. You know what I mean? So it's not as
Gotcha.
kind of sophisticated, and that's fine. You know, sometimes people are
Yeah,
they're starting their business, but yeah, we just need to get those invoices. So
okay.
by the way, for those who are here, does everybody know like who our PMs are to put a face to the name?
Not before today. I really didn't.
Okay,
I
just
figured
round
out all the
table
for a minute.
abbreviations.
I've met a couple.
Okay, so we have Drew. He's in my bottom left here. Drew, do you want to say hi?
I've met Drew. Hey, Drew.
You guys know Betsy. Again, I'm Alex. This is Reagan. Her video just turned back on.
Hey, Reagan.
This is Ray. And then John is our newest PM. John, do you have your video available?
Not at the moment.
Okay. So John is our newest PM. He actually came from Kerbo Realty. We bought their little portfolio and
Cool. Congratulations.
yeah. And John's been phenomenal. So we're really, really glad to have him on the team.
he,
Excellent.
And then
And
Mandy,
we
where's
love
Mandy?
having him. He's wonderful.
Is he? Perfect. I can't wait to work with him more then.
And for PMs and John, do you want here's your opportunity to meet some of them, and then also John, for you to be able to say, okay, yeah, what do you do? Awesome. You know what I mean, John? Would you like that introduction?
I think the only ones that I don't know is Curtis and Christopher, maybe.
Okay.
Sure.
Chris does alternative resurfacing. Did I say that right? Yeah. And countertops, bathtubs, right? Porcelain. Yeah.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
I'll
He
keep
does a-
you in my Rolodex, Chris.
Appreciate
He
it.
does-
They do a
He does
phenomenal
such a,
job.
he does such a
Absolutely,
good job.
brother.
Thank you.
I turned you on to Jay Stores, did I not, John?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And Curtis is next. to
Curtis
me
is
here.
our, yep, Curtis will
Yeah,
jump on
Briar.
something.
Yeah,
Kurt?
Briargate Home Improvement. So I do just a lot of the handyman maintenance repairs type things.
Awesome.
Mhm, mhm.
Gotcha.
Gary, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I do all general repairs anyway.
Yeah, Gary's awesome. He jumps on stuff right away too.
Awesome.
Not that the rest of you don't, but I'm just saying.
And let me finish with the PMs real quick. Mandy Campbell, she's in Teller County, but she does also have some properties mainly on the west side of the Springs as well. And then Ben Yoder is my brother. He does all of our commercial building management.
Cool. Awesome.
Sarah's accounting, accounts payable. Sam does the invoices and helps
Cool.
Sarah with the run. So,
Alright.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have any questions?
No, it's been very helpful. Thank you.
I do
Yeah,
have,
thank you so
one.
much.
You guys go over like invoicing numbers and stuff, Lee?
Oh, yeah.
You could,
One
you-
thing
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
really up, and I don't really know off the top of my head who's done it recently or anything like that. We have a lot of issues where some vendors send duplicate invoices with different invoice numbers, but with the same amount and for the same work. So a lot of times, we want to make sure we don't double pay anything. So if we could really watch out for that, that would help everybody in the long run.
We do have segments on ours. So if it's a multiple day job for you, each day would be in a different segment. And if that's a problem, it doesn't sound like this is what you're talking about, but because each segment has a different price in it. So it's pretty clear but if it's not, then I'd love to talk about that and try to get it cleared up for you,
Yeah, and I think, do we mostly see that with folks, again, who are doing these by hand?
Okay.
Or do we have?
Okay.
Sam, have you seen ones that are like digital that are?
yeah.
Digital a lot, because a lot of times I catch those when I enter them. Like when I always try to look at the vendor ledger before I pay invoice to make sure that we're not double paying on anything. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, this is 324. Well, this is 324. And I go and it's the same work, but it's just different invoices. And that's
We
how
will
they
have like 324-1, 324-2, so on and so on. That
and
would
then in
be
case
how
that
ours look.
like, when I'm entering the invoice, I'll do -2 if I notice that. But a lot of people put that. So they just put 324. And I'm like,
Gotcha.
That's what I'm seeing.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions, we can probably wrap up. So nobody else has any other?
Also,
Go ahead, Sarah.
sorry. So I
Okay.
just want to also mention too, if anything is aging past that net 30 date, please reach out to us. We really want you to get paid. And if there's something that we are missing, we would like to know right away so that one, we can see if we didn't receive the invoice at all for some reason, something was missed.
Yep.
Or if we still need to get owner funds and we just need to reach out to the PM and then get with the owner.
Okay, thank
So
you.
if we're over 30 days, you want us to remind you or just double check that you guys received the invoice, or that's what you're saying, Sarah?
If you can send like something that's like an aging report
Yeah,
for like a net
great.
30, if it's aging past that 30 days,
Yep.
if you don't mind sending us a
Yep.
report, that actually helps
Okay.
us out to make sure
We're on the
that
same page.
you are getting paid and that we
Yeah.
are all on the same page.
Okay,
The exception
fantastic.
to that rule may be if you submit the invoice at the beginning of the month, because it may not get paid out till the 10th or 15th of the following month anyway.
Okay,
Correct.
right.
But kind of keeping in
Right.
mind that rule, if you submitted it at the end of the month and it was 30 days, then there's a problem.
Okay.
And again, all those communications go to invoices.
Right.
I know that some of you haven't gotten a lot of work from us, but hold on tight.
When it rains, it pours.
And it's going to break loose pretty soon. So,
Yeah, it's gonna come real fast here, so be
Right.
ready.
right.
We're bracing as well. It's a lot of work for us too.
Yeah.
Um,
And we're going to be utilizing everybody possible. So trust me, it's going to come.
And
Okay.
we're at about 770 doors right now. Our goal is a little over 1,000 by 2022. So we'll keep on growing and giving you guys more work, hopefully, and helping everyone.
My last count, Alex, was 840.
Wow.
Well, maybe with the commercial doors, but yeah, just
Yeah.
residential only. It's
Yeah.
about 770.
Yeah.
We like it all. We like it all.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys so much. We don't say that enough. Again, we wouldn't be as good of a company without you. So thank you so much for all of your work. And,
Feelings mutual. We
thank you.
appreciate
have a
the
good
business.
20.
Yeah, we
24.
appreciate it. You know, we're out there on your reputation as well. So we always try to, wear our boot covers, wear our face mask, be kind to the tenants, and because it's, hey, I'm Nick, would just screw it on behalf of Dorman Property Management. So it's kind of a big thing, and I'm very glad that all of my guys are in it. So thanks for the opportunity, and we really look forward to many more years with you guys. If you guys need anything at all, let us know. I just had a question we're adding all sorts of new services. Who would I send a short email to once in a while for those sort of updates?
Lee.
You can send it to me. Send it to me.
Yeah.
And
I'll
the
let everybody
shorter and sweeter, right? You don't want like, hey,
Yeah.
here's a whole, yeah,
Alex,
cool.
Alex is incapable of reading to the bottom.
Yeah,
Of,
cut out all the fluff. I want 2
yeah,
sentences.
he
Bullet
only
points,
reads
spaces.
sentences.
Yeah. Duct cleaning with video inspection now available.
There you
Yes.
go.
Things
Yes.
like that, right?
Big
Yes.
pictures,
Yes, pictures are very helpful.
Like
Ooh,
think of a
I
kid
like
that
pictures.
only liked picture books. That was me. So just yeah.
Hey,
He doesn't.
I'll have my
he listens to
I'll have
audiobooks.
my comic guy maybe start doing some comics for us. That'd be cool. We
All
got
right,
all of our
guys.
staff like animated.
Have an awesome
And I-
rest of your day, guys. Appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
See you guys. Nice meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.